Hey y'all, grown black folks talk on this gorgeous final day of the spring before summer begins. The sun is as high to the sky and as far north as it will ever appear. Well, almost. It will be tomorrow at the summer solstice. So, slightly different filming angles because I'm not trying to blind you. Got a couple things to do today, and I want to talk about both of them in brief. This is not exhaustive. This is for your thought. There's no way we can cover this. How to uplift yourself. And now, of course, this is our On the Climb series. I make these halfway or part of the way through my walks every day, or almost every day. Tomorrow, maybe not, because I'm going to be at a business conference tomorrow afternoon. We'll see what happens. Anyway, how to uplift yourself. This weekend, last Friday, many of us who were watching a show in which a young man went out of his way to do some unfortunate mental gymnastics because he wanted to humble 17 to 18 million women, black women. And of course, Saturday, we had a repeat of approximately the same behavior by a different man. But we have been talking in the comments in various places about how do we decenter, and shout out to Eric at the Narrow TV, about how do we decenter stop giving people attention that don't need to be part of the conversation. So on this video, I want to talk about, how do you uplift yourself, and where does humility belong in that conversation? I think I said on my reaction video that if anybody else wants to take the position to humble you, there's a couple people that want to do this. Europeans in the world want to humble other people into believing that they are superior. Nope, you get old, you die, and none of them can say anything about COVID and make it go away. Not gods or goddesses. Done. Satan would like to be God and humble the universe under him. Not gonna happen. Done. Unfortunately, in the black community, we have a lot of that going on as well. But put that to the side. Ain't gonna happen. Anybody who can come out here and make COVID go away will consider their claim. Ain't gonna happen. Now that we're done with that, there are two people in the universe who can humble you. You can do it too for yourself, and that's what we'll talk about today. And then you end up with God resists the proud, so the humiliation is coming, but gives grace to the humble. And so how do you accomplish this for yourself so that you can actually be uplifted? How can you be uplifted? And I am a Christian, but I'm talking about God's common grace and God's special grace, which covers everybody, if you put the two of them together. Okay. Humility item number 1 for self-work. Recognize the necessity for self-work. The only thing, if you live in the United States of America or the Caribbean or Europe, the only thing ever given to black people coming out of Africa were chains and whips and slave ships, historically, in that time period. And of course, some of our ancestors had lost wars and were enslaved in Africa. So don't wait for anybody to give you anything. Recognize the necessity for you. I was talking to an elder black sister that I have last night, and she was talking to me about her realization. A lot of people tell her, you need to do this and do that. She said, there ain't nobody doing nothing but me, and I have to do what's for me. And when one of the elder sisters put you up on game, you need to listen to that. She's got to get a lot of stuff done for herself. Now, I'm her friend, and I sent her some information on YouTube on a channel called Bigger Pockets. Bigger Pockets, for those of you who want to go into real estate, like for real. But if things are going to happen, she's going to have to make it happen. And that's true for all of us. There is a historical debt. The people who owe it are not interested as a country in paying it. That's that for now. I'm not saying it will never happen, but this gets us to part 2 of this. I got to come back to self-work in a minute. So that's that part. Recognize that no one else is going to do your work. Whatever it is you see that needs to be done, you have to do it. You have to do it. Second, I'm going to go back to self-work because there's another side to that. Second, aspirations and inspiration cannot be made manifest. I think I covered already. We're not gods or goddesses. And again, if you can manifest a solution to COVID-19 out of your own will, please do that. Because the black community was towed up with COVID-19. If you can't, we do this a lot. I'm a black church member, so I know how many years the black church has given us the sweet by and by. and given us great inspirational speeches, and very little has changed in the last 50 years. Don't get me wrong, I recognize our ancestors and our elders had nothing left but their spiritual strength to survive in the conditions that they were in. They were physically strong, but still, 12 generations of people, unless they had the strength to escape, and they needed a vision of why going to the other side of the river was going to be better than being on this side of the river. Don't get me wrong, there's a place for that. But we can talk about what we want to do for black women all day long. Ain't nothing going to happen till the work is done. And then you got to look at, hey, you're in the United States of America. If you don't have the capital, forget it. You're not going to pray and hope and envision your way out of this one. Now, it does so happen that by working out the numbers on Goldman Sachs' conversation about giving $10 billion in loans, which is a form of capital, to black women businesses, if you do work this out, there are a million black women with businesses, 17% of black women own business, and that's approximately 3 million people. That is, capital is being applied to 1/3. There will be $10 billion of capital in black women businesses that would not have been there had Goldman Sachs decided not to do this. That is a massive opportunity, obviously. But the work has to be done. We can talk about all the things we would like to see available to black women and girls all day. What you might want to do is figure out how to get with people who are going to get capital and find out other situations, because if Goldman Sachs is looking at us like this, so are other people. And then we have to learn how to be able to calm down a little bit as black women and work together. I don't have a lot of elder black friends that are not trying to compete with me because I'm younger and more beautiful than they are. That's just time of life. I don't have a whole lot of elder female black friends that I can't count on to try to push me down because they're mad I'm going to get their spot. They haven't thought yet that whether or not I even want their spot in a paradigm that is disappearing. They haven't thought about that yet. But that has been an experience that a lot of younger black women have gone through, and we need to be honest about and humble about for ourselves about how do we heal the wounds between ourselves so we can work together. I told you I was coming back to work. And that gets us to the other side of our self-work. I'll talk about something that's obvious. I am a fat black woman. Nobody ate all the meals in the improper portion sizes but me. So guess what? I have to get out here and do my work. I have to not eat ice cream every day. In fact, the way my metabolism works, I found out I was doing everything right. I was eating healthy. Fruits and sugars, and still it was too much because my metabolism doesn't really handle sugars all that well. I have diabetics in the family. So for me to not go pre-diabetic, for me to not develop diabetes, for me not to, as my father, who is a diabetic, says, to not to kill myself with my teeth, I have to change my life and do my work. There's work to be done on emotional levels, there's work to be done on moral levels, there's work to be done that the company can keep. Now, you have to humble yourself to recognize all these things are necessary. And here's what tends to happen. How to get uplifted. When you humble yourself to recognize I'm a human being and I've got to do my work. I'm a human being and I've got to be careful about the company I keep. I'm a human being and these are things that I must do day to day. Do you know that people come alongside you to lift you up? See, you got to be on the climb. I am not going to participate in because I am exhausted with conversations about what this one is doing and that one is doing. I'm only interested in conversations with people who are on the climb at this point. I'm not going to sit up and listen to the same conversations or be part of the same conversations about people that aren't doing anything, don't plan to do anything. That's a waste of time. I'll close this for a little story time. One of the things I do when I forage, I showed y'all this cherry plums. I've been very consistent in doing that because I just hate to see the waste, and I like cherry plums. They make a nice dessert. They're cool though, they're fresh, they're real food, they're non-processed, they're organic, they're real food, and they do a lot. Keeps me from eating ice cream on these hot days in summer. So, someone came along and said, I have a ladder and I have nothing but time. I will pick this entire tree as high as I can reach because I don't want to see these fruits go away either. His name was Ian, and he's a close neighbor of mine. In fact, I can almost see his house from where I'm sitting right now. Almost, not quite. But he's a close neighbor. So I made a contact with a neighbor around something good we both wanted to do. This is a food resource, and we don't want to see it wasted. We would rather see it go to people who would actually use it. Random. This man, middle-aged man, is climbing on a ladder, 10, 15 feet in the air, doing a good thing because he thought it was valuable enough to do that with me. Just random stuff that happens when you are consistently focused on doing the right thing in your life and in the area around you. This is how you get uplifted. You have to humble yourself. No one else has the right to put you in a lower position. But the humility comes when you recognize the position that you're in. No, you are not God. You will not fiat anything into existence. It simply will not happen. You can write it down, do a vision board, make it plain. You got to get up and do the work. All of it. We have a lot of healing to do amongst ourselves as Black women as well, before we can work together powerfully. I probably should also mention one other area because I know this is out there. I know there's a lot of hurt between Black women and Black men, and for good reasons. We all can read the stats. Here's the thing. Every one of us has a Black father, Black brothers, and Black sons. And since there are about 17 million, 17 to 18, and 13 to 15 billion over there, that's not going to change. We're going to have to figure out how to live together to or just find a whole bunch of countries to separate. Everybody needs to take time out and heal. But in the next video I'm going to talk about, we have to be able to give each other grace where we are. We live in an environment where we grew up in a nation that wanted one race to have all the value and our race to have zero. Now, we sit around and have conversations about ourselves. There's a religious movement called, shout out to Uplift. Shout out to Uppity Unicorn for explaining, and I can't remember what video Uppity, I apologize, the nation of gods and earths, also known as the 5 percenters. Where the Black men are the gods and the women are just dirt. So we have a lot of that going on. But now I see just as many Black women who are up here talking about we're going to just reverse the game and that's going to solve the problem. It's not. You're still agreeing to have no value. You're still agreeing half the race has no value. And what does that mean? Because human genetics being what they are, you do know that half the Black children will be born approximately will be Black boys. So this problem is not going to go away by just flipping an immoral script. And it'll be a good day when some of us get humble enough to recognize that. We don't have to center them in every conversation. But at the same time, we also cannot fiat them out of existence either. A little humility on that subject would be helpful as well. Because it's not realistic for the majority. There are approximately 50 million of us in this country. We can come up with individualized solutions. You know, kind of think of yourself as you live your life one by one. But you have to humble yourself to realize what actually can be done in the condition that you're in. And then start climbing up to a better position. And watch, as you humbly and consistently do this, who comes along to help you. Okay, that's video 1, and we're losing the sunshine because the sun is going behind this tree and the wind is going to pick up. I may change position. We'll see what happens. And I have one short video to do with this one. All right, y'all have a good day.